Steve, you know, what's in the shake? What does it taste like? How much does it cost, and where do you get it from? You know, one of the things he said to me is, first of all, it tasted like a milkshake. You know, it was actually good. It was less than $2 a shake. I was in because I could afford that. All right, and I could get it from him, so I figured that he was obviously making money from the promotion of the product. Again, it wasn't what it is today. This was just, no one had ever heard of it. And then he started talking about what was in the product. Now, you Ashley talked a little bit about it there, but I like to hit just some of the highlights. You know, in the shake mix, first of all, it's 90 calories in serving. All right, 90 calories in serving. You take 2 scoops out of here, dump it in a blender, 8 ounces of liquid, a little bit of chopped ice, blend it up, boom, that's your shake. This morning, I wake up, on my way to taking the boys to school, I make a unsweetened almond milk, which is only about 40 calories per serving. See you shaking your head over there, you like that almond milk, right? That's good stuff. 90 calories right here. I took a half of a banana, and I took just a small scoop of peanut butter, and then some chopped ice, dump that in my Magic Bullet blender, boom, 4 seconds, I'm ready to go. I pour it in a cup, and I'm out the door. That's breakfast in 2 minutes, on the run. And here's another thing. The shake mix is 90 calories per serving, but it's gluten-free, which is a big one today, right? It's diabetic friendly because it has less than a gram of sugar and also less than a gram of fat, all right? That's a big one today. The carbs are only 7 carbs in one shake. The sodium, extremely low at 75 milligrams of sodium. The protein content is a 2-part whey, 1 part soy protein. But if you had any concerns with soy protein, they've taken the isoflavones out of the soy so that you don't have to worry about, you know, anything as far as the negative part of soy protein. It's a whey hydroxylate protein, which is the highest grade, you know, protein that you can get on the market. All right, and this stuff is completely amazing, guys. One last thing is it's kosher and it tastes like a milkshake. All right, the fiber, it's a complete serving of fiber, like I think 5 grams of fiber in the shake. All right, so they've covered all the bases here. And then here's the last part. You can mix it with just about anything. You can put it in orange juice. You can drop fruit in it. You can do it with water if you want to, you know, maybe if you want to lose more weight, you know, quicker, you're going to do just a water shake with some ice. Boom, 90 calories in and out the door, right? Shake I had this morning is probably 220, 230 calories, maybe a little bit more than that. But that was a complete meal and a great source of protein on my way to the gym this morning. So I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. I had breakfast, and I also got my protein in before I worked out. Got about 20 grams of highly absorbable protein on my way to working out. You know anything about training, you got to have that protein before, and you want to have it right after you work out. This is a great way to get it in both ways. Now, for most people, that 2 years ago when we started, most people wanted to lose weight because it was just, again, no one really had lost any weight. But the folks started dropping weight on the program. Steve, my buddy, lost 12 pounds in 2 weeks. I get on the program, and I use it as a meal replacement, not to add lean muscle. But what was interesting, and I'm giving y'all this because this is good stuff. What was interesting is I remember coming off of a bench press competition at my gym, and I was working out at a particular weight. And usually when you lose weight, you compromise muscle. Anybody know anything about that? Yeah. Usually when you lose, right, Quinn? You start slimming down, right? You start getting weaker, right? What was interesting is 2 weeks in, I'm down 8 pounds, right where I wanted it to be. Where my guys at over 30 in there? Come on, what fellas at over 30? It ain't as easy.
Over 50 over there.
30. I mean, you remember when we used to wake up with our shirts off? And then put on, and we didn't put on a shirt until we had to go somewhere important, right? I mean, really, you just walk around proud, right? Then, you know, 15 years later, you know, we at the beach with our shirt on, you know. We all in the pool with the shirt on, and that's not what we want to do. We want to rip that thing off, but it just ain't right yet. So
get it right.
This is where I was. I mean, all the rest of this was looking great. But then I just had 10, 15 pounds right here. 2 weeks in, I'm down 8 pounds, and I'm literally watching my love handles disappear. I call one of my workout buddies. I say, hey man, I'm down 8 pounds in 2 weeks. I'm still benching 315 for reps, put it up 9 times a day. You got to see this stuff. He said, dude, whatever it is, send it to me right now. Because he knew me. He knew kind of, you know, we were kind of right in that same building. He says, dude, I need something to help me slim down. 2 weeks later, I'm down 12 pounds, right here where I wanted it. And buddy, let me tell you, I told Steph, I said, honey, we're going to be rich. That's exactly what I said the first month. And I had no idea. God knows I had no idea. But that's how I felt because I watched 12 pounds disappear in 1 month. And the only thing I did, I'm about to get excited. Is it okay if I get excited? Yes. I wasn't excited back then. I was kind of, it's okay if I get excited, Steve? Okay.
Get excited.
The only thing I did different was I took a shake in the morning on my way to UPS instead of eating once a day. I didn't measure any food. I didn't count any calories. And I didn't cut back. I simply took a shake instead of eating once a day to lose 12 pounds in 1 month. And I started to think about the 350 guys I work with who could all stand to lose 5, 10, 15, 50 pounds, right? Because we all drove 18-wheelers over the road 10, 12 hours a night. It's probably the most, you know, conducive diet or environment for a healthy diet, right? I mean, you're eating at 3 o'clock in the morning, not because you're hungry, it's because you're bored, right? And you got to get back to Jacksonville. So you eat to stay alive. So after a few years of that, you pick up pounds. Well, I started thinking of all of those guys. I could only think about the guys that I was working with. And I thought, every one of them, if I told them that testimony, how many of those guys would jump on an opportunity to drop 12 pounds in 1 month? Every one of them would. Oh, yeah. It's something that saves them money because you drink a shake instead of eating, right? So you have a shake instead of having a #1 at Zaxby's. Come on now. Right?
King of Zaxby's, I'm Popeyes.
Yeah. I mean, and I thought, okay, and it's arguably the healthiest thing that you put in your system all day. So right then and there, and that's the shake mix. Now, we got some other stuff, we're not going to talk about all that. But right then and there is when I made a list of everybody I knew. I had a notepad, red notepad. I took it to work with me every night, and I called everybody I knew. I had a party just like this at my house. 32 people show up, right? 32 people show up. None of us knew anything. Clayton, you were at my first meeting, right? Clayton, you were there. Who else was at my first meeting? Anybody else in here? Nobody else in here? I know my mama's outside. My mama came because she loved me. And, she didn't want to do it either. But she came. After that first meeting, we signed up as an executive. I'm going to borrow yours real quick. We signed the application as an executive, the one right here in the middle, $499, $500. I did not have the money. So don't sit in here tonight and think just because you ain't got no money, that's a great excuse to not get started. I called my first guy, Dan Felton. I says, hey, Dan, have you ever heard of the challenge? He said, no. What is that? I said, Steve lost 12 pounds in 2 weeks drinking a milkshake. My buddy Kyle, we all knew Kyle. Kyle's getting rich all over again because Kyle was already a millionaire when he came into this. I says, Kyle's getting rich all over again, and no one's heard of this. We need to get in on this. He goes, are you doing it? I says, not yet, but I'm going to. He says, well, how much does it cost? I says, $500. He says, well, when you get in, I'm in. And I says, great, but there's a catch. I don't have my money yet. And he says, well, what's the problem? I said, well, I don't get paid Friday. You ever been broke on Thursday? I got paid on Friday for 20 years at UPS. Well, this was a Thursday. He says, well, why don't I loan you the money and you pay me back? I said, why don't you get over here right now? And so I borrowed $500 to start this. Pretty crazy story. Borrowed $500 from just one of my buddies. And Dan and I weren't best friends. He was just a guy that I borrowed $500 from. And that night, I made all my money back. Would you be excited about that? That's just a level called director. You do that, you get 3 people to join you, and you make your money back. I mean, how many companies could you start with 3 investors, and you make all of your initial investment back? Second, probably the first weekend, I got 3 customers to join me, and I didn't have to pay for my product kit the next month. I got 2 bags of this each month from there on, right? I got 3 customers in that first week, so I didn't have to pay for my product. How many companies can you start and not have any overhead or any carrying cost, all right, by only involving 3 customers? Probably none, right? Guys, I'm about to be excited. That's kind of a no-brainer, all right? 3 investors, you make your initial investment back. 3 customers, no overhead. The perfect business. Oh, yeah, and you didn't have to save money for 2 years and invest scared money to start it, right? It's what you spent on the last really nice date you went on, right? Or a really nice outfit, right? Like some of these purses y'all walking around. Yeah. So, director is the first level. I know we got some people in here who have done that. Who's a director in here right now, current? Cool. How long did it take y'all to do it? Just shout out some numbers.
5 days.
30 days.
5, 30, 21, 20, 27, 6. So there you go. You heard those numbers. 500 to 1,000 a month. Next thing you do is you go get 6 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you put them, you make them a director. Now you're a regional director. You got a told you so tag.
Yeah.
This tag right here. The company gives you, saw in the video, $600 lifetime bonus to drive a BMW. Back then, there was only one guy in Jacksonville that had a car. His name was Mike Craig. As a matter of fact, I was standing back there in the room right there, texting Mike Craig. He's the guy on the video, kind of gray-looking hair, kind of cool haircut. Mike Craig had a 550, 2008 550, 2.5 years ago. He parked it up at the hotel at my first meeting, and you would have thought it was a Lamborghini
Murcielago,
right? $400,000 car, right? We were walking around that thing going, you got to be kidding me. They paying him to drive this? You wouldn't even have to pay me. I'll drive for free, right? I'll spin the wheels in that 550 all, on the house. So anyway, back then it was just an idea that you could get one of these. Can you imagine where it is today? It took us 2 weeks to go get our car, right? 2 weeks to get our car. And I remember when we did it, I had no idea what I'd done. I had no idea. I just knew 2 weeks went by and I called a bunch of people. And nobody had heard of it, and everybody was wanting to lose a little bit of weight. Everybody was wanting to eat a little bit better. And everybody wanted to make a little bit of extra money. Nobody was talking about getting rich. Nobody thought that, you was going to go out and make $1 million. None of that stuff. We just figured, hey, this just makes sense. It's good nutrition. It tastes good. It's affordable. We could probably find a few buddies to put on the program. That's really how we thought, right? First month in, we turn a $5,000 profit. Would you be excited about that? Yeah, you'd be running around this house with this room right now. Some of y'all.
Thank you.
Matter of fact, who in here, I know we got a brand new regional director couple in here. Who in here is a regional director right now? Okay, real quick, give me an idea of what car you have, if you have a car, and how long it took you to qualify. If you don't have a car, what car you